Wednesday, May 16th, 2018, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to pick up where I left off from my last video. It's been raining. Well, yesterday it was held off for a while and it started raining late at night, and there was some flooding in Maryland further east of me. But here is from Monday, the 14th.
It's kind of disappointing.
Video finally uploaded.
But anyways, I'm going to go in and take a look at
I
the
was
maps.
trying to catch thunder and lightning.
And we'll just take a better look at this from above. Oh, there we go. Right there. Caught it. Let's wait for the thunder now. There we go.
Right? So I caught my thunder. I was waiting on that, and I caught it. So that made me kind of happy. So that storm passed through. We'll go up here, and as it passed through, you can see this pulse pattern here, and that's probably coming from the next rad and close to DC there. And then after that storm passed, the sky turned yellow. It don't really look yellow from the camera, doesn't really do it justice here, but you know, I guess this is momentous clouds, you would call them. You can see them, how they bubble up. But yeah, it really looks otherworldly. And these are very common in Central Plains and Midwest. Now this is only the third time that I've caught them the past 3 years, and this is probably the most defined that I've seen them. It's still not very well defined, but we'll keep moving along. This is from that same night. This is in West Virginia, I believe, but these are a form of momentous clouds. And people seen them in Pennsylvania too, in the tri-state area. And this is yesterday morning. Sky's clear. And there is a flood watch in effect from tomorrow, Thursday afternoon, until Friday evening for Cumberland, Maryland. But we'll move along here. There's the clouds from yesterday. We were supposed to get a thunderstorm, but we never did. Here's some clouds from yesterday. You can see this higher layer filth left by planes. They activate it, turns into this plasma crap with the frequency waves. Here's a plane doing a nice, you know, a totally normal flight path there. Yeah. Trying to move through here pretty quick, and then this storm just missed us in western Maryland here. Now Fredrick, on the other hand, they got hammered. And we'll scroll through these real quick. Connecticut had a tornado. Pretty much northeast got hammered. Well, East Coast. We'll look at the current weather images here soon. Just take it, and Texas. Well, the Texas up through the Central Plains. Midwest get hammered a lot. Now here is one of the most natural looking clouds that I've seen in a while yesterday. Nice crisp, clean edges. And I'll say natural looking because I'm not positive if it's natural. If you ask me, you know, I don't trust in any clouds natural unless I see it form myself. So you see all these storms blooming up. Pulse patterns. I said there was flooding in Fredrick, Maryland. This is an image here. And this car was actually floating by. This was a screenshot I took from a video. And then you can see where these two storms kind of merged right here in the middle. And yeah, here we'll take a look. The the capture, I edited together a few. And you can see it meet right there in the middle where that flooding was in Maryland. Now this next frame, you'll see the pulses. All of these pulses are from the next rads. And here in Texas, you can see these heterodyne rolls on the lower level pressing up against. You know, I'm sure that probably formed a tornado too, because when you look at that, here's today's this morning, and like these, when I say I only believe a cloud is natural is if I see it form in front of my eyes. And here is a perfect example. I see this nearly every morning. Is the transpiration from the trees, the mountains, and there's a creek right below here. And this is called isoprene. And, you know, if you're from a distance, it kind of looks dark bluish gray or blue. That's how the Blue Ridge Mountains got their name, if you're unaware. Now we'll move on to my Facebook page. Here is some yellow mammatus clouds I was talking of. Move on up, and here's from Pennsylvania. Somebody's caught the same ones. These ones are a little more defined. We call them booby clouds. That's probably why they're called mammatus clouds, because they look like boobies. But anyways, continue. And here's, I was talking, there was a flash flood warning and thunderstorm for Cumberland, but, you know, we never ended up getting a thunderstorm. But it did rain later that night, and there was rain in forecast till Sunday for us. Continue. Oh, now here's that flooding in Fredrick I was talking about. You can see the car floating by. Severe weather. Here's I made I already showed the videos, but a catch up on that, because I said how interesting the weather was going to be this week from a previous post, but this basically just proved my point here. And here's some more images from the flooding in Fredrick. Weather warfare, if you ask me. Disaster capitalism. People was making money off of others' misfortune and sufferings. You know, this is why they don't want people to know that they're doing it. Because, you know, instead of making money, they could be potentially paying people money. Alright, now we'll move on to current images. This is 96 frame. So this starts off from late last night, and you can see the remnants of that big storm that caused flooding and tornadoes up through the northeast there. And you can just see all this moisture gets sucked in from the central plains and up the coast here. And you'll see most of this water vapor is generated over land. Now what we got going here, I'm not quite sure. But we'll move on. Here is, now I like these two, I don't know what you'd call them. Like this one's called the lower level water vapor imagery. I like this one because you can see where the drier areas are. This one's good for seeing plane trails. This one tells you the height and heat. You know, you get this dark red and these blacks, yeah, it's high and hot. High and hot. Move on, this is a geocolor image of today. And you can just see all the planes through all this. every day through all the weather systems. Okay? You can't tell me all this is normal flight patterns and stuff, because you can sit there with the flight radar on heavy spray days, and not many planes will even register on it. So, you know, to me it should be quite evident what they're doing. Seeding, overseeding, pump up vapor, and they superheat and guide with NextRad. Some more visible images from today. You can see you always see the frequency patterns. You always see the planes. Look at all that filth. You're just going to believe that that's just normal contrail pollution from commercial air flights. You best start looking a little bit more into it. Right? And you see where these are getting pumped up in North Carolina. I got a friend in North Carolina. If I can find him real quick. He's showing me Duke Energy. Shout out to you, Mr. Scott Smith. He's got a couple from the past couple days showing Duke Energy pumping up the clouds. Poof. That's from today. And I believe he had one from yesterday too. Now this is from Pennsylvania yesterday. Same mantis type clouds. Now I want to show you, he had the power plant from yesterday. I guess I should have asked his permission before I did this, but you know, here you go. Some cooling towers from Duke Energy, clean coal. Pumping up, making clouds. Alright, now when you see this cloud form, it's not just water vapor, because water vapor dissipates. Water vapor needs a cloud seed to stick to create a cloud. Okay, so we'll move on. Looked at that. We'll look at the NextRad activity. This is the past 24 hours, starting from 3 p.m. yesterday, the 15th. And you'll see all these pulses up here. Right? Trying to explain to people like what all you're seeing on here is it's not all NextRad. Right? And then you see some of these dots and spikes. Some of them are just meaningless interference from anything from security cameras to, you know, certain, you know, cell phone towers and stuff. But then you get, you know, major interference from things like paved pause units, which is part of the space fence, which is a radar for higher up. But you'll see interference from them on here, and to me, they're more powerful. They definitely help with modifying the weather. Now, these devices can work on different areas of the atmosphere, and they can work together in unison and combine frequencies, which is called heterodyning, and to reach a greater power and all that. Now this, when you see them bloom up every night, this is the ionization cycle. This helps with guiding the storms and ionizing the sky, obviously. Now we'll move on. This is the most current images. And like I said, we got flooding or flood watch in effect in Western Maryland from tomorrow afternoon till Friday afternoon. Now look at this storm here just popping up right over, I guess that's Kansas City, or we'll just call it Northwest Missouri area. Look at that, right around that transmitter, how it shoots out. And then you can see and pulse patterns all around it. Let's refresh this. See if it's any different right now. Oh, about the same thing. You can see the pulse patterns around that. From the next rad, I would assume. You can see it here and see them all over the place. Let's zoom in on one. I'm about done here. We were at Missouri. We'll take a look at the Midwest region here, see if it shows up here. Not quite as defined, but you can see these little lines here shooting out, rolling out. That's a heterodyne roll created by the transmitter shooting out. It's funny how this storm's shooting out right from the center of that next rad. You know, I would believe that, oh, it's just coincidence. Well, god damn, when you watch this all the time, it's just happens too much to be a coincidence. You know, every day, every hour of the day, you can see this. So to me, that is not a coincidence at all. It gets to the point where it's, you know, what you're seeing is weather modification on here. They're modifying the weather with microwave energy. But that's about my report. Look at some flooded areas. Look at power outages. I don't know what happened up here in New York. And once again, they don't even have Puerto Rico on the map anymore. They used to have Puerto Rico here right next to Hawaii. Out of sight, out of mind. And here's where I like to end. Is basically to see what the next few days is forecasted. And as you can see, running off the East Coast, we got a major shitstorm in store. And it runs in 3-hour increments. Rain, rain, rain for us in the East Coast. Saturday, 8 in it, 2 p.m., 5 p.m. Alright, we'll end there because I don't like to jump ahead that far because really, you can't really tell what the weather's going to be 3 to 6 hours ahead of time, yet alone 3 to 6 days. So we'll end there and we'll check back in on a later date. And if anybody has any questions about anything, please leave a comment and I will help you to the best of my ability, guide you, and give you information, whatever you might need. We'll check back in tomorrow.